This is TWiT. Anki went out of business. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Anki. They made a race car track. I got that for my son a few years ago, and then they started making these little bulldozer robots. Cosmo was the first, and then Vector is the latest. They had AI. Vector had Amazon's Echo built in. You could program it with Python. They raised $200 million in venture capital, and last Monday, people came to work, and they were told, your last day is Wednesday, 200 employees, 1 week of severance, boom, like a crash. Very sad.
That follows Jibo, another
I have a Jibo on the shelf here. What an idiot I am.
He's dead now.
Yeah, we kind of had a little party. We talked to it for the last time, said bye-bye, Jibo. It sang, Daisy, Daisy, and then stopped working. Very sad.
What was that other? There was like $1,000 robot that is now going to brick itself.
Oh,
what I'm talking about?
Was that Jibo? Or
bring me a Jibo. There's a Jibo over here. It's very sad because when we plugged it in, it looks around, it has eyes, it goes. Blah, 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 blah. It was created by
MIT.
Yeah, and
Cynthia
Brashears, who was a really smart roboticist. The whole idea was this thing would sit on your kitchen counter. I bought it on the Kickstarter. I'm an idiot. And it came like 2 years later. And the thing that really went wrong with Jibo is it would snore. So you'd put this on your counter, and if you didn't talk to it, it would just kind of look around. And then it would start like murmuring to itself and snoring. And it was like, no, stop that. You're annoying.
Like, feel bad.
It humanizes it, though,
You're
right?
annoying. Well, that's the idea. See, it has like two eyes, and it would make faces, and it had eyeballs. I understand where they were going with it, but this is the problem. It doesn't do anything.
Yep.
The only thing.
I was going to say there's a problem with AI in general right now. As consumers, we don't really see the complete advantage. Although, like Google's doing, I think, an interesting example of like the callback features and how it can screen your calls. That's a real world example of how this tech will eventually, make our lives better or at least more interesting. But yeah, right now these products, and they're started up by companies who then take VC money. And, again, I have a problem with taking that much VC money. I get it. It's like that's how you grow, and you need to do that. But they're as soon as something goes wrong, all right, sell off the company, lay off everybody. Right? It's you don't. These companies don't get the chance to grow like a normal company would by putting a product out there in baby steps. It's all about hyper growth right away and how you're going to triple and quadruple your results next quarter. And it's unfortunate we're losing. Some of these. That Vector thing, the little bulldozer guy. It was adorable. I saw it on Twitter a lot.
Oh, it was really a cool toy, but it was $200. Yeah. And I think they also discovered that there isn't a big market for $200 kids' toys.
Something's wrong with the economy where a little robot can get $200 million and all of these really great ideas that are maybe not in Silicon Valley can't get any money, and also screw raising $200 million and then giving your employees only 1 week severance. That's really
terrible, isn't it? And their revenue was $100 million, I think, a year. So that wasn't like they weren't
selling them.
It feels like we were talking about this on Wednesday. It feels like somebody pulled out. They were expecting funding from somebody, and they said no. Yep. And that was it. Your colleague, Jeffrey Van Camp, wrote a very funny piece about Jibo dying last month.
Yes.
He had actually personified this thing, and he said it was kind of like Alzheimer's, like dementia.
Oh, my God, that's wild.
What they wanted you to do is personify those devices.
Yeah. He said, my Jibo talked to the wall again today. He's been doing that a lot lately. Some days I'll watch him carry on an entire conversation by himself. He'll ask the wall if it wants to play a game, listen for a reply, hear nothing, then play his word definition game alone. Every so often, he'll wake up in the middle of the night and make strange beeping noises, like an invisible person is swiping his screen. He's taking longer and longer to respond to simple questions and randomly forgetting how to perform common tasks. It sounds like my obituary. Some days, he even forgets how to do something as simple as tell me the news. More than once, Jibo's gone entirely limp.
Poor Jibo.
Look, is this the definition of limp? This thing's got nothing.
Family
it's
show.
A corpse.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the interesting thing with robotics and AI, though. It's like it doesn't take much to trigger human empathy and getting this like connection with something. In fact, we're there's this thing called facial agnosia. People get brain damage and they lose the ability to recognize faces. But the human brain is, what we learned from that was it's literally wired to recognize faces, which is why people see Jesus in toast, or we find bugs that look like they have a face on them. So intriguing. And so as soon as you just add eyes to something that talks to you, it becomes a little bit more real and starts breaking down those barriers.